Have you ever felt like you have a dozen different passions and you get really excited about starting new projects, but you just struggle to pick one? Well, if that sounds like you, then this explainer is for you. We're going to dive into the big ideas from Emily Wapnick's work on how to thrive when you don't have a single true calling.
It's the question, right? The one we all get asked as kids. And it's supposed to be exciting, full of possibilities. You could be an astronaut, a doctor, an artist, absolutely anything. But what happens when that question follows you into adulthood? Well, for a lot of us, it stops feeling like a fun game and starts to feel more like a trap. The pressure to pick just one thing, one single identity for the rest of your life, it can cause this immense anxiety and a whole lot of self-doubt. So, why does it feel this way? Well, this leads us right into our first big idea, the specialization trap, and why sticking to just one path can sometimes feel so wrong.
Our culture just loves the idea of the specialist, the person who goes super deep on one single topic. The author, Amelia Wapnick, she felt this pressure firsthand. When she jumped from filmmaking to law school, the surprised reactions she got just fueled her own guilt for not being able to stick with one single path.
And this cult of specialization, it has some very real-world consequences. Get this. A UK study found that a staggering 80% of employees are discontented in their jobs. And a huge reason for that dissatisfaction? Feeling understimulated and just craving more variety. But what if having many interests isn't a flaw? What if it's something else entirely? That brings us to the polypotential identity, and this idea of reframing this whole thing not as a weakness, but as a genuine strength. So to start, let's give ourselves some better labels, okay? Wapnick came up with the term multipotentialite. It's a really positive way to describe someone with lots of creative pursuits. Think of it as a modern take on the classic polymath, which is someone whose knowledge spans a whole bunch of different fields. So here's the crucial reframe. This is not a story about being indecisive or flaky, not at all. It's a story about having a versatile, adaptable identity, which, it turns out, is an incredibly powerful asset. In fact, being a generalist, or a multipotentialite, it actually comes with some pretty unique advantages. Let's just call them your generalist superpowers. I mean, just think about it for a second. Some of history's biggest innovators were total polymaths. Da Vinci was an amazing artist and a scientist. Churchill was a statesman who also won a Nobel Prize in literature, and Steve Jobs famously combined technology with design and marketing to literally change the world. You can even see this evolutionary advantage in nature. Just compare the specialist koala, which only eats one type of leaf, to the generalist raccoon, which can eat pretty much anything. Now, when the environment changes, which one do you think is more likely to survive and thrive? And this isn't just some interesting biology fact. It is our modern reality. With an estimated 47% of U.S. jobs at risk from automation in the coming decades, the most vulnerable roles are often the highly specialized ones. Adaptability, it's no longer just a soft skill. It's an economic necessity. Okay, so you're a multipotentialite. How do you actually build a career around that? This brings us to 4 really practical work models that you can use to structure your life. First up is the group hug approach. This is where you find one single job or business that is naturally interdisciplinary. So think of, say, an urban planner who gets to do research, community engagement, and policy work, all within that one role. The variety is baked right in. Next up is the slash approach. This is all about building a portfolio of different part-time jobs or businesses. You are literally a slashy, a yoga teacher slash writer slash photographer. This model is perfect for anyone who really craves flexibility and having multiple streams of income. Then we've got the Einstein approach. It's named after Albert Einstein, who developed his theory of relativity while working a stable, full-time job at a patent office. The idea is really simple. You have one job that pays the bills, which gives you the security and the free time to go explore your other passions without all that financial pressure. And finally, there's the Phoenix approach. This is for those of you who like to dive deep, but not forever. You work in one industry for a few years, learn everything you can, and then, just like a phoenix, you rise from the ashes of your old identity to start fresh in a completely new field. Now, no matter which one of those models really resonates with you, they all require the right mindset. And that means learning to fully, truly embrace your unique path.
Look, this path isn't always easy. You will probably face imposter syndrome.
When that feeling of being a fraud creeps in, the best advice is to just refocus on your work, not on how you're being perceived. You'll also face critics from the outside, and while it can help to explain your path to people who matter to you, remember, you do not need anyone else's approval to live your life.
This all comes down to a really powerful realization from Wapnick herself. Instead of trying to hide her weirdness, her tendency to jump between fields, she learned to lead with it. She understood that her uniqueness was the actual key to her success.
So I'm going to leave you with this final thought. What if all that time you spent feeling anxious about being indecisive, what if you were actually cultivating your greatest strength? Your ability to learn quickly, to adapt, to synthesize ideas from different fields. That is exactly what the world needs more of right now.